Yes, you heard right. Get 90 days of picks for only $6.10 per day. A WagerTalk 90-day all-access pass covering all sports, all client releases, and all 5% best bets are priced at $8.49. But for a limited time, you can save $300 and lock in your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 3 months for only $5.49, coming out to just $6.10 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 90 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires. Act fast as this offer expires Sunday at midnight.
Hey guys, Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com with another edition of Stoppage Time. This is our final domestic league edition of the year. This weekend, the top 5 leagues in Europe finish off their seasons, and there's still a ton up for grabs, whether it's relegation spots or whether it's Champions League and Europa League spots still up for grabs. There's a lot left in the balance, and to break down 4 big games for this weekend are my good friends and co-hosts from Sports Memo, Pavlos, Laguretos, and from WagerTalk.com, Nick Borrman, and my favorite Irishman, Kevin Dolan. Let's bring them in. Kev, I'm going to start with you, my friend. How's life treating you in Ireland, and some big games ahead? So tell me you've got some action coming up.
Yeah, Carmine, all good. We released an F1 package for the Monaco Grand Prix this morning. We did have Crystal Palace last night plus a goal. Anyone watching that game knows what I'm talking about. 95th minute goal there at the end. But yeah, it's generally all good. And look, I love this time of the year. It's the final week of the EPL season and across Europe. And obviously we got the Euros coming up as well. And we've done well in previous tournaments, so excited about that.
All right, awesome. Nick Borrman, how's it going, my friend? A 5% winner yesterday on the total in the Arsenal game. You are now a Gunners fan through and through, I believe. With that, what do you have up for this week and this big weekend ahead?
Yeah, listen, I'll apologize to Kevin. We didn't need that second goal in the 95th minute. The first one that happened in the 90th minute was enough to get the over in that 5% winner. So sorry, Kev. I was not rooting for that one. But it's nice to catch that. And this weekend, I do not have my cards up yet. I'll have them up later today. I have been looking over all the last weeks of the Big 5 leagues. So it's a fun week for sure. Trying to figure out, the lines are obviously, we'll talk about them, are goofy. And it's fun to figure out, who's actually going to show up and what squads are going to play and how do you handicap these games. But yeah, looking forward to it and looking forward to covering these games today with you boys.
All right. And of course, my favorite man from Spain, Greece, wherever he is right now. You might be in Poland for all I know, sampling the craft beers over there. Pavlos Laguretos, how is it going, my friend? Tell me you have a bunch of stuff up at Sports Memo.
Actually, I do have some stuff up. I have a Sunday soccer package. Right now it has 2 plays in it, but I'm going to add a whole lot more of plays. Actually, I'm very excited about the finish of the French Ligue 1, where there's everything is at stake. The title is at stake. The Champions League places are at stake. The Europa League, the 6 teams are battling to avoid the relegation. So I'm going to focus a lot on the French Ligue 1, but with all the major leagues finishing on Sunday, there's going to be a lot of plays coming out from me. Also a 5% that is under consideration for Sunday. So I'm going to have at least 10 plays for both days. So I'm really excited for the final weekend.
Awesome. Good to hear. And, one of the things I love about the final weekend of football in Europe, and not that it's the final weekend because I wish it would go on, 3 days a year, is it's the one time, it seems, a year where all the games, like in England, all the games are played at the same time. Obviously, with the big TV contracts spread out, you don't have those 6-7 games going on at the same time. But everything is 11 a.m. Eastern time this weekend in the PL, and that's absolutely fantastic because you just see and sweat the action, and these teams are sweating the action of seeing what's going on in the other games. It's always great to see that happening. Guys, these are the games we are going to cover today. We're going to cover a couple of games that have obviously top 4 implications in the Premier League. Aston Villa, Chelsea. We'll do Leicester City and Tottenham. We'll then switch gears and we'll move over to Italy and Serie A, where there's a big game in Atalanta as they host AC Milan, and of course Bologna and Juventus. Still top 4 spots left in the balance there. So with that said, let's kick it off. First game, excuse me, Aston Villa and Chelsea. The odds here, Aston Villa plus 550. The draw is plus 350. Chelsea is minus 223. The total is 2.75, which is a split line of 2.5 and 3. It's simple here, Pavlos. Chelsea win and you're in. I'm sure that they would have loved to have gone into this weekend with a top 4 spot already secured, so they could rest some players ahead of next weekend's Champions League final next Saturday. But they're stuck here and they need a result. A draw might not be good enough. If they draw against this Villa team and Leicester City and Liverpool both win, Chelsea drop to 5th and then on the outside looking in for next year's CL tournament, unless, of course, they win the final. And we saw with Aston Villa yesterday against Tottenham, a team that is playing loose and enjoying the rest of the season can be dangerous. And they beat the Spurs yesterday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Give me your thoughts, Pavlos.
Yeah, who's to say that they'll not play spoiler again? Actually, Aston Villa, they've been bad at home this season. They have just 6 wins, 8 losses, and 4 draws. While they conceded, they've won just one of their last 8 matches at home. And they conceded 2 or more goals in 5 of those 8 matches. But as you said, Carm, they've been playing free soccer since they have nothing to chase. Some players are playing for, to impress their manager. Some players play to get more playing time. So we see these teams that are standing at the middle of the table with nothing to chase for, and they are dangerous. They just won't roll over and die. We said it at Tuesday's show that Aston Villa will not roll over and die, especially if Grealish was in, and he was in. So they beat Tottenham and they destroyed their chances. So who's to say that they'll not do it against Chelsea? Chelsea, of course, we say it in every show. They have a great defense since Tuchel came over. They've been great on the road. They have 10 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. And they're unbeaten in the last 12 away matches in all competitions with 9 wins and 3 draws. And in those 12 matches, they've only conceded 5 goals and kept 7 clean sheets. So one could make an argument about Chelsea keeping a clean sheet here, but I don't think that Aston Villa will just they might lose, but not by hands down. So the way I look at this is both teams to score at minus 120. Someone might call me crazy for going with both teams to score against Chelsea, but maybe the possible over 2.75 goals. But my favorite bet for this match is Chelsea to win by 2-1 at plus 800.
All right, I like that. And Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one here. I don't see how Chelsea can rotate any players in unless they have some type of a lead in this game that is obviously more than a goal. You're likely going to see, I would think you're likely going to see a lineup similar to what they had against Leicester, where you're going to have you have to have Mount in there and likely Pulisic and obviously Conte and Jorginho and Chilwell and Azpilicueta. I just don't see how you can rotate any guys in off the bench. They have some players there, but I think you need to secure a win on the weekend. Thoughts?
Yeah, of course. They'll have their best 11 out there, no doubt. It'll be interesting to see exactly who's in the lineup and how Tuchel gets them out there. But Chelsea on paper, clearly the better team. Should win this game more often than not. Villa, as you mentioned already, Carm, nothing to play for. At the same time, that makes them dangerous. They're playing an open game. They're out there having fun. These guys, it's the last game before the summer. These guys are going to go in and listen. A big factor to me this weekend for these type of games is this is the first time Aston Villa gets to have any fans at home, right? Don't you think they want to give the fans a win or something to get excited about? Playing Chelsea to end the game or end the season. So I think there's a lot on the line here for Aston Villa, even though it means nothing in the standings. I think they really want to come out here, show the fans, what they've been missing for, over a year now. Chelsea probably win the game. I do like Pavlos' 2-1 score line that he threw out there. I actually like the spread here on Aston Villa plus 1.25 goals for that reason. If Chelsea wins, I think it'll be close. I don't see it coming by more than 1 goal. Since Tuchel took over, which is now 27 games ago, Chelsea have won by more than 1 goal just 9 times. On the road, they've won by more than 1 goal just twice in 12 games. So, I mean, Chelsea's, we've talked about it a million times, they play defense and they play it well. And then when they get that goal lead, they don't push. They make sure they win and don't make that mistake. So that kind of same mentality for me is, I don't see them really going for anything. And I think Aston Villa could be a little dangerous here. So Chelsea probably wins, but hey, I'll take Villa. Maybe they'll get a point out of this game and cover it. But plus 1.25, that extra quarter of a goal is great assurance here. I think they'll keep this close enough.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you. And Kev, I'm going to give you the final word on this game. In that last Chelsea game, and the lines in Chelsea games, or at least the totals are usually 2.25 goals. And you clearly liked the over in that Chelsea Leicester game, and that came in, of course, with a 2-1 scoreline. Thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't see much value in the match line myself, not at where it's currently at anyway. Villa Park, as the guy said, has always been a tough place to go get a result. And even as little as this game means to Villa, I still expect them to give Chelsea a game here. The cards market was actually where I was looking. Villa are averaging the 3rd highest aggression and booking points in the league this season, while all the last 5 head-to-heads between these two in Villa Park have averaged at least 1 red per game. So these are usually pretty fierce encounters between these two teams. Aston Villa midfielder John McGinn is averaging the highest booking points in the league this season with 11 yellow cards, while defensive midfielder Douglas Luiz, defenders Matty Cash, Tyrone Mings, they've already picked up straight red cards themselves this season. All of those players are going off at 33-1 to get sent off in this one. If I'm going to have to choose one here, I'm going to go with John McGinn just because of those booking points. We know the Scot loves a tackle, and with such a finely poised kind of end-of-season game here, one reckless challenge and he could be gone. So, yeah, I think it's worth a half unit. John McGinn, red card, 33-1 for me.
All right, I like it. That is Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. You can get 7 days of Kevin or Nick's or Pavlos's all-access packages. That'll cover you straight through to next Wednesday, of course. All their action across different sports. For only $79, it's normally $119. If you use promo code Final40 for Nick and Kevin over at WagerTalk.com, along with myself, Final40 coupon code, you'll get $40 off that 7-day all-access package. And over at Sports Memo, use Final30 to get 30 off of Pavlos's 7-day all-access. The 7-day all-access packages at Sports Memo are $89, so you'll get his for only $59 after using that coupon code. All right, guys, let's head over to a second game. Obviously, Leicester City and Tottenham. A line in this game. Leicester City is even money plus 100. The draw is plus 275. Tottenham is plus 250. The total here is 3 goals, 3.0. Guys, what can we say, man? Nick, Leicester's late season collapse is happening once again. It's like Groundhog's Day after last season. They're clearly behind the 8 ball here. While they're tied on points with Liverpool, they're now on the outside looking in because of goal differential. And that 3-0 scoreline by Liverpool on Wednesday didn't help them much. So now, not only do they need a result against Tottenham, they're going to need one with quite a few goals scored in it for them. And that might not be enough, unless, of course, Liverpool find a way of bottling it against Crystal Palace. But Liverpool should get the win there. And if that's the case, Leicester's going to need a big win on the weekend. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, man, is this a big game, huh? And both teams suck and have nobody to blame but themselves for being in this predicament. I mean, Leicester dropped points against Southampton, lost against Newcastle in their last 4 games, and then, of course, lost against Chelsea, which isn't obviously necessarily a bad loss. But how are you dropping points to Newcastle and Southampton if you're battling for a Champions League spot with 4 games to go? It's just inexcusable. Like you said, another collapse happening. Of course, then they win at United, but United didn't have much to play for. Then you got Tottenham. losing to Leeds, losing to Villa here this week. I mean, what are these teams doing? It's like they don't want to win. So one of these teams is going to get highly disappointed after this game, maybe both. And nobody to blame for themselves. That being said, there's no tomorrow here, right? So both teams need a win, and they need to do what they need to do to get to that win. So to me, this screams open type of a match. This screams take risks, especially once you get down. It might play a little tight at first because, neither wants to lose, of course, and that 1-goal lead changes the tone of the game. But once that thing goes in, I think this thing could really open up. The over was at 2 3/4 at one point, either earlier yesterday, and has rightfully moved up to 3. I'm still seeing you can get 2 3/4 for around -130. Both teams to score is high. It's around -170. But the combo of the two, you could take both teams to score and over 2.5 for regular -110 odds. I think that's a pretty good play. If you look at the history between these teams, the over is 16-6. That's over 2.5 goals. The over is 16-6 in the last 22 meetings, while both teams to score is actually a little bit higher with a 17-5 record of both teams scoring. So I like that combo play at -110. I think either taking the total or both teams to score by themselves are good options too. The prices are just a little bit higher. So, but I think this is going to be an open game and a lot of chances both ways.
Yeah, Nick, just to correct you, there is a tomorrow. It's called Friday. But with that said, I agree with you. The Newcastle game is, you said there's no tomorrow. I said there is. It's Friday.
Oh, I got you.
Yes, sorry. Way to mush my joke, Nick. But with that said, yeah, that Newcastle game is likely going to be the one that could burn them on this season, dropping points at home and even not getting a draw. A draw would have been enough in that Newcastle game if everything else remained consistent, and just a win against the Spurs this weekend would see them into next year's Champions League. Kev, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. Leicester's back-to-back imploding jobs in 2 straight years going on right now in the Premier League. But, they really could have been handed a gift this Sunday facing this Tottenham team right now. It's funny because, on Tuesday show I was praising Ryan Mason. What a difference 2 days makes. He has, in fairness, he's got off to an excellent start as boss of Tottenham. But, that Harry Kane news seems to have completely sucked the life out of this club right now. I was really surprised by how poor they were. Last night against Aston Villa, they allowed 21 goal attempts by Villa. On their own side, they averaged just 0.89 XG of offense. And, even the way Harry Kane stayed out on the pitch afterwards to salute the fans, basically saying goodbye. Who knows if he'll even mentally or physically indeed show up here on Sunday. As much as I don't want to take Leicester, we know they're not the best team to back at the end of seasons, but they're the team with the focus here. They're the team where goal difference matters. And even though Tottenham potentially fighting for that last Europa League place, they look like a team just waiting out the season right now. And I do expect a fired up Leicester side to take care of business here on Sunday. So it is Leicester for me. Even money looks decent. That's the way I'll be looking.
Yeah, it's funny. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you next on this one. First, Kev talked about that Tottenham game. I had in the Tottenham Villa game, I had over 3, and I couldn't watch the second half. But at halftime, it was 2-1, and I'm thinking, there's okay, well, I don't need to watch the second half of this. I can finish what I need to get done. And I come back and see the final score is still 2-1. I'm like, I couldn't believe they couldn't get another goal in that game. This one probably will have some goals in it, Pavlos. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it will have goals. You all made some great points. I don't have anything more to say than if you look at Tottenham, they've been pretty terrible on the road lately. They've won just one of their last 7 away matches in all competitions with 4 losses and 2 draws. They've won just 2 of their last 11 domestic matches on the road, just 2 wins, 6 losses and 3 draws. And they kept just 6 clean sheets in 30 away matches in all competitions. And those came against Aston Villa, Burnley, West Brom, Fulham, Chelsea, and a team named Marine in the Cup. So they only kept clean sheets against the teams that were either relegated or were in the bottom half. So yeah, Leicester, I think they look, healthier at this point. So yeah, I think we'll go with goals here. Nick made a great point. I actually had this on my thoughts. The both teams score and over 2.5 goals. It's a nice combo. I think we'll see a lot of goals in this match, and maybe one team takes the lead and then the other one wins. So if you look at some sports books, they offer this line. And it's pretty high at around maybe plus 1100, plus 10, something like that. So Leicester to take the lead and Tottenham to win, or Tottenham to take the lead and Leicester to win. So that's how I'm looking at it. But it looks like goals here.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's not to say it's going to be an exciting final weekend in the Premier. And it's not to say that Liverpool is a slam dunk to win their game, but they should, of course, against Crystal Palace. And if you look at some of the score lines of the past couple of years, including the reverse fixture this year where they beat them 7-0, I think they've scored the last 12 goals against Crystal Palace. But I'll always remember, there's one player on that Crystal Palace team that would love nothing better than to beat Liverpool, and that's Christian Benteke, and he's got 10 goals this year, so it'll be an interesting final weekend. All right, guys, let's switch gears and head over to Italy. We're going to cover the one game that pretty much could decide the all 4 Champions League spots, and that is the Atalanta and AC Milan game. Atalanta is plus 162 at home. The draw is plus 300. AC Milan plus 140 as a slight favorite. And the total is 3.25 goals, which is a split line of 3 and 3.5 in this game. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. The task at hand is fairly simple for Milan, albeit they're up against a very good Atalanta team, and that is win and you're in. Juve are going to be hoping that either Milan or Napoli drop any type of points and they win their game against Bologna, which we'll talk about next. But if Napoli and AC Milan both win, they will take the final 2 Champions League spots. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, it is definitely, nervous times for AC Milan here, because Juve is sitting right behind, ready to take advantage of any slip. But, for me, it's got to be goals here because AC Milan, look, they've been better on defense of late, 4 clean sheets over the last 4 games, for example. But, outside of that shock 3-0 win over Juventus, each of those other 3 clean sheets came against bottom 5 teams, Benevento, Torino, Cagliari. So it's hard to put too much stock into that newfound defense, especially when they're about to go up against this high-powered Atalanta offense here on Sunday. Atalanta have been flat out ridiculous at home this season. They lead the league on offensive XG this year with 2.34 XG per game. They've averaged 2.72 goals per game inside Bergamo this season as well. 61.1% of those saw at least 4 goals scored. This team has been an absolute goal machine at home this season, and I don't see that changing here on Sunday. Each of the last 5 head-to-heads between these 2 teams have averaged 3.6 goals per game. And Milan are one of only 2 teams across any of Europe's top 5 leagues this season to see all of their away games produce at least 2 goals. I think this one goes over the total on Sunday. It's obviously high at 3.5, but that's for a good reason. We're getting plus money at that 3.5 number also. So, yeah, goals for me in this one. I think both teams show up on offense here.
Yeah, some good points, Pavlos. I'm going to go to you next on this one. Atalanta come off a midweek final that was played yesterday on Wednesday, losing the final of the Coppa Italia to the aforementioned Juventus squad. Personally, as I told you on Tuesday's show, I would have preferred that even as a Juve fan, that they lose that game and make Atalanta feel good about the weekend fixture. I expect Gasperini, the manager for Atalanta, to put out his best team in their final game at home. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, sometimes I think about whether Atalanta are going to try to play spoiler. Are they going to be bitter about losing the Coppa Italia final? Maybe. Are they going to lose to prove a point? Maybe. Do AC Milan have what it takes to beat Atalanta? I think they do, even without Zlatan. However, Atalanta, they've been, as Kevin mentioned, they've been great at home. Now the price for Atalanta is dropping. It's at plus 155 or something like that. So there's of course value in backing Atalanta to win at home. And you have to keep in mind that Atalanta, they beat AC Milan by 3-0 in Milan in the reverse fixture. And they not only did they beat them, but they destroyed them. They had they were creating one shot after another, while Milan were just sitting back and just they were helpless in that match. So who's to say that maybe Atalanta don't double their wins against AC Milan here? But the thing is that they have nothing to play for, while AC Milan have everything to play for. So maybe Atalanta will sit back and let AC Milan win, which I don't think that they will. So Kevin also made a great point about the over. So I don't see AC Milan winning here by like 1-0 or 2-0. So both teams to score and over 3.5 goals as a combination is at plus money, and it's also something to look at here. But that's yeah, this looks like it will have a lot of goals. I mean, I don't see a scenario where either team wins by like 1-0 or 2-0 or something. A goalless draw is out of the question if you ask me. But yeah, I think Atalanta with plus 155 at plus 155 and the over are also good options here.
All right, some very good points. Nick, I'm going to give you the final word on this one. Atalanta have only lost 3 games at home all season. You'd have to go back all the way to the end of January, where they lost 3-1 to Lazio to find their last home loss in league play. Of course, they had a 1-0 loss to Real Madrid in Champions League, but they've been solid at home, and it's normally it's all wins, very few draws as well too. Do they close out the season with a win? The bookmakers seem to think that this could be a game for AC Milan, because you don't normally see Atalanta at plus 160, and even if it's down to plus 155 now, you don't normally see them at anywhere close to that price at home.
The bookmakers think that the public thinks that AC Milan is going to win, right? So, listen, you guys know I love to disagree with Kevin more than anything. And I'm not going to even talk about what he said in this game, but I'm going to go back to, I got to give credit where credit's due. And I go back to, I think it was last show, maybe it was a show before that. Kevin mentioned, the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the season, when you get these situations where you got one team to play for everything, one team to play for nothing, the lines become so overinflated to the other side that it's like, it's way, 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 way too much. I mean, this to me has at least 3/4 of a goal difference of where it should be right now. I was actually able to grab Atalanta last night plus 1/4 of a goal at minus 120. I see it still available at minus 130 right now, so it's ticked up a little bit. But I mean, when these two teams are full strength, and this is middle of the season, Atalanta is a clear even money favorite at home in this game, in my opinion. I don't see, the justification for this type of line move just because AC Milan need to win. How many times do we see teams choke at the end of the season? Atalanta is too good. I mean, there's always a risk, I guess, that, like you said, Gasperini maybe for whatever reason, I don't know, doesn't play his guys, and that's something, I guess you could wait for that last hour before kickoff to see the lineups. But I'm going to jump on, like I said, I jumped on the plus 1/4 of a goal line. I think it's a steal of a price. I don't disagree with you guys on goals. I think it could see a lot of goals in this game as well, but I just see a lot more value in taking the better team here, catching plus goals at home. I mean, that's rare. Draw no bet is even money right now. Another good option on them, as you mentioned, Pavlos, plus 155. I'm seeing as high as plus 165, or I did last night. I didn't look again this morning, for Atalanta to win. All have good value on them. So I like Atalanta any way you can take them here at home. I think just the line is completely overinflated for the necessity, I guess you can say, on Milan to win this game. Milan, to me, I've mentioned it several times. We've covered their games. I think they're I was a big critic of them. I think they're kind of a joke. I think, they are where they are because they were awarded a shit ton of penalties. Sorry for my language. And that's it. Without those, they're not where they are, and they're not as good as they are. They look to be in the standings, through open play. So sorry, but I like Atalanta here.
All right. I hope you are right, Nick. And yesterday's game was not a heated affair between the two teams. There was a bunch of yellow cards towards the end of the game. That usually happens with a lot of time wasting and what comes with it. And of course, Gasperini and Juventus manager Pirlo did have quite a few words after the game, not heated words, just an embrace and some discussion. And maybe Pirlo said to him, "Hey, listen, we need a favor, man. Help us out here, right? So, and they wouldn't be in this spot if they played a little bit better. And I'm talking about the Juve squad. All right, guys, speaking of the Juve squad, let's go to their final game of the Serie A season. Juve Bologna. Bologna are plus 1,000. The draw is plus 450. Juve minus 350. The total here is an inflated number as well at 3.5 goals. Juve's task is simple as well. All they can do is win the game and then hope while they're playing that something happens in either the Napoli game or the Atalanta AC Milan game that benefits them with either one of those teams dropping points that will get them into next year's Champions League, or else it's Europa League for them. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Yeah, so we have one team, Bologna, who are not fighting for anything. They're just playing out the season. They've been bad lately. They're winless in their last 6. They do have 4 draws though, and 2 losses against Genoa and Atalanta, where they didn't score. But they've been frequent scorers this season, and Juventus' defense hasn't been great. I mean, Juventus haven't kept a clean sheet since February. That's 10 straight matches on the road. So, but they have been great historically in this venue. They have 7 clean sheets in the last 8 matches in this venue. And looking back, I'm sorry, my tongue is, looking back to 1990, they have 7 wins with a 1-0 correct score and 5 wins by a 2-0 correct score. So one could make an argument about Juventus playing a safe match here, just scoring an early goal and see how the other matches go. But I don't think Bologna are just like Aston Villa. They play their last match at home. They're looking to finish the season on a strong note. Juventus defense has been bad, but the odds on both teams to score are so low, and I don't want to go there. If you go both teams to score no, looking for a Juventus clean sheet win, the both teams to score no goes at plus 110, and it is something to consider. On the totals, I don't really like it. The over 3.5 goals, I'm not so sure if it's gonna go that way. I don't like the spread on Juve. To be honest, I have a small scenario where Cristiano Ronaldo wants out and he doesn't give his 100% in this match. So Juve don't win. They don't qualify to the Champions League. So he has an extra reason to leave this summer. So this is a shady match for me, at least in my eyes. So I'd rather look away. Yeah, maybe both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Something like that in the terms of Juventus to win by 1-2, something like that. But I'd rather stay away from here.
Oh, Pavlos. Nick, before I go to you, Pavlos, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the best footballers in the world, along with Lionel Messi. He will put in a performance on Sunday, as he does every weekend or every game that he plays. Whether he scores or not remains to be seen. But I'm going to throw an exact score at you before I throw it to Nick for his take on this game. Juve 4-1 plus 1,400. Write that down, boys. Juventus 4-1 final plus 1,400. I'll have a few bucks on that one. That is a good exact score prop bet. Nick, give me your thoughts on this game.
I like the fact that you put the 1 in there for Bologna here. I don't necessarily know if I'm on the 4 on the Juve side, but, it could have certainly happened. I just think, kind of like I just mentioned in the last game, I think the line is getting a little bit crazy here. Minus 1.75 goal right now for Juve seems a little high. It looks like -2 is about to pop out too, which means even more value on the Bologna side. We know the situation. Pavlos already hit on that. Who needs to win, who doesn't. And if this was the Juve of old that were winning games 2-0, 3-0 like, they always used to, I might be okay with this line. But the fact of the matter is that Juve is not the Juve of old, and they do not play defense like they used to. And they've conceded now in 12 straight games overall. I mean, Pavlos touched on the away conceding streak that they're on, but in 12 straight games, they've conceded. I mean, Carm, when was the last time, Juve has done something like that? It's pretty remarkable. I mean, the last time they kept a clean sheet was January 27th in a cup match against Serie B side Spal. Excuse me, that was the last time that they've scored 4 goals to cover this type of a line, assuming that Bologna gets that one. So that's 24 games without scoring more than 3 goals. So I see a lot of value in the on the plus 1.75 number. I think it's going to come to +2 at some point. I'm going to wait for that. Both teams to score is another good way to play it. It's minus 140. Just, expect the Juve of new, we'll call them, to show here, and Bologna to net one. Then you really don't have to worry about anything else because we know Juve is going to score. Ultimately, I do think Juve will win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout win, and I don't think it's going to be an easy cover. And I like Bologna to cover this line. Just wait for the +2.
Yeah, I agree with that, Nick. And Kev, you make some good points. I'm going to give you the final word on this. The problem with this Juve team all season, while they don't have a midfield that I think it puts any fear in any team's heart, it's just been the lineup. And it with first-time manager Pirlo, through 35 or 36 games in Serie A, they've had 35 or 36 different lineups. There has never been the same lineup twice from what was reported during one of their games. I think that's absolutely an unbelievable thing to hear. Is if you don't have uniformity in your lineup, it's tough to have that. It's not the days of the sort of the BBC of Bonucci and Chiellini and Barzagli back there with Buffon and net. You now have a lineup where guys just aren't playing with each other day in and day out, and that's got to be a problem, and why they've conceded, it seems like, every single game they step onto that pitch.
Yeah, I agree. I personally don't want to mess around with the handicap line this one. As Nick said, minus 1.75, a little too high for me, but I do think Juve win. Bologna have been abysmal at late in defence themselves. They conceded in both halves in 4 of the last 5 Serie A games and have registered 9.09 win percentage as underdogs this season. That's second worst in the league. So I don't give them much of a chance of winning this game. If we combine the outright Juve price with Torino, though, another team I'd like to win this weekend, that's paying out a plus 131. I like that. Benevento have been ridiculously bad to close out the season. Just 1 win over the last 21 games in all. They've conceded at least 4 goals in half of those losses as well. So I expect Juve to win. I expect Torino to win. Combine those, plus 131. I like that.
All right, that's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com with the final word. Of course, you can get Kevin, Nick's, or my 7-day all-access packages over at WagerTalk for only $79, regular price $119, by using promo code FINAL40. And if you head over to Sports Memo, you can get Pavlos' 7-day all-access package, $30 off that price of $89. So you'll get it for only $59 and lock in 7 days of plays across all sports. Guys, tune in next Tuesday. We are going to do a Europa League roundtable. We're going to talk about the tournament. We'll briefly touch on what happened this past weekend across the leagues and the Champions League spots, and we'll go into that Europa League final in detail, talking about some props, game lines, and different types of wagers that you can take in that Europa League final. And then on Thursday's show, we will head over and we'll discuss the Champions League. We wish you all the best. We thank you for tuning in. And as always, guys, good luck with your wagers.
No one was hotter down the stretch in the NBA than Marco D'Angelo as he went insane 33-12 against the spread. The NBA playoffs are here, and the real fun begins as there are no more resting players and guessing lineups. Remember when Marco closed out the football season in January with a 17-4 winning run in the playoffs and bowl games? Marco excels in postseason play as he has a special offer. The NBA playoffs are $2.99, but if you act now, you get every play Marco releases in the playoffs for just $2.49 using coupon code MarcoNBA50. This special price package includes Marco's top 5 rated NBA plays as well. Hurry, this offer ends soon.